The setting for the game, Black Mesa, is a secret science facility established by the American government in the Cold War-era New Mexico desert. This is such a huge and overdeveloped facility that applied sciences are being developed for the study of every imaginable discipline at a level far beyond standard scientific research. The most intensively studied areas are the development of weapons and defense systems with high technology, multidimensional travel research, that is, teleportation, and advanced secret research on an interdimensional cosmic region called Zen. The facility is so huge that it has its own hydroelectric dam and nuclear reactor. Black Mesa is a self-sufficient supercomplex almost as big as a city and completely independent of the outside world in every aspect, with rocket launch pads, electric rail transport network, and large living spaces. It even has its own newspaper. The facility has two main groups of employees, namely science personnel and security personnel.
Hey, catch me later. I'll buy you a beer.
Apart from that, it is home to thousands of other residents, including administrative staff, service personnel, and sometimes the families of the employees. Because this is a secret facility, most employees cannot go out once they enter. The biggest goal of this facility is to invent the teleportation technology, and it has succeeded. Teleporting portals, that is, displacement technologies, are a tool to console material between two locations or dimensions. This invention, if realized, will become the most perfect means of transportation in human history. In this way, we will no longer need vehicles to get from one place to another. Thus, vehicles such as cars and airplanes will become obsolete just like horses and camels. Even rockets will no longer be needed to make space travels, which are impossible due to the infinite size of the universe. Astronauts will only be able to travel between galaxies from laboratories with portal doors opening from the world. Bringing the most precious resources of the universe into the world will be easily possible. After extensive research in Black Mesa, they finally succeeded in developing a working teleportation technology. However, exotic matter with negative mass is required for this teleportation to occur, which is not something that can be found in nature. Had also succeeded in synthesizing exotic matter through Black Mesa's research at nuclear facilities. Thanks to teleportation technology, it has become possible to reach even beyond the universe we can observe. However, these giant machines in Black Mesa were huge devices that required massive power supplies. It was really costly to produce the exotic matter needed to teleport. So they used this technology again to further develop this technology and seek resources. They searched for exotic matter in every corner of the universe. Scientists later discovered an inter-universe frontier world, which they named Zen. The Zen region is so far away that it is even outside our universe. A cluster of celestial bodies with living creatures on the surfaces of asteroid-like islands in the stardust of the Zen nebular space. This is a place where you can breathe easily and have water. Therefore, it has a rich ecosystem of living things. Researchers here discovered natural crystals containing rich exotic matter, which they named xenium. Apart from scientific curiosity, if crystals, such a natural source of exotic matter, were collected from the asteroid caves and brought to Earth, teleportations would become much simpler and more economical. They have repeatedly attempted to bring the crystals into the world. The study team that did this work were professionals with both highly scientific and military training. Scientists trained in the Black Mesa Danger Course were able to bring large numbers and weights of Zen crystals to the world, although it was very dangerous. Zen was a deadly place with hostile and ferocious alien beasts. Many times, scientists have had to come into conflict with these aliens. Some lost their lives for this cause. Has set up science bases all over Black Mesa Zen. They brought the aliens to Earth and performed autopsies at the facility. The Zen crystal has now become the new oil for teleportation, the new transport. Teleports had become very commonplace now. People were running around in Zen, but not enough. It was a temporary solution because the crystals were consumed quickly. So we need a longer-lasting source. To push this technology further, purer samples were required. Black Mesa scientists scoured the asteroid islands in Zen for crystals. However, they could not find the material of sufficient purity. And parts of Zen were really deadly dangerous because of that aggressive alien life. That's why you couldn't go anywhere. Zen crystal is a cocktail that is a mixture of both normal matter and exotic matter. Before using these crystals, a perfect expedition must be analyzed to avoid an accident. To do this, a machine called anti-mass spectrometry is required. The normal mass spectrometer used in real life, as the name suggests, measures the mass of atoms and is used to analyze the chemical sequences of molecules. These devices are needed because atoms are too small to be measured with ordinary weighing devices. But this process doesn't work for exotic materials with negative mass. Anti-mass spectrometry works by scanning with sensors the electromagnetic waves and high-energy plasma beams released by churning the exotic matter of Zen crystals. This makes it possible to generate the displacement energy currents required for teleportation. Generally, crystal samples are brought to the testing room by an elevator and pushed into the instrument by a person using a wheelbarrow-like tool. This is a routine in Black Mesa. All crystals brought from the string have been subjected to this process. So this experiment has been done hundreds of times. Later, scientists searched for this crystal in the sky and found it on the ground. The crystal number GG3883, given by a mysterious hand, was like an incomparable blessing with a very high purity. This crystal is the purest specimen ever discovered, because it contains a more exotic substance than any other exotic substance. The crystal would provide us with enough teleport fuel for a very long time. Thus, you will no longer have to constantly carry crystals from space and fight wild creatures. That's why all the scientists were eager to analyze it as well. The entire facility mobilized to analyze this crystal. The person chosen to insert the crystal into the spectrometer was a recent MIT graduate theoretical physicist named Gordon Freeman. The role of this man in the realization of the most important scientific experiment in human history was to push the sample into the machine when he was entrusted to him in the Abnormal Materials Department that conducts nuclear, subatomic, and quantum research. However, this job does not require any expertise. Any unqualified ordinary person could easily fulfill this task. It is only necessary to wear a hazmat suit called an ACV suit to protect yourself from the radiation emitted while performing this experiment. Some made fun of Gordon by saying that my father can do the super simple task of pushing the car with just a few buttons and pushing the car, but Gordon is content. All in all, it was a nice job with a good salary and not too tiring. On the morning of 16 May 2003, all preparations were now complete for this great experiment. However, there is something missing. The only person who will push the sample with the car, our Gordon Freeman, is half an hour late for work. And finally, Gordon, wearing the HCV suit, reaches the anti-mass spectrometer in the anomalous materials laboratory, and the experimental procedures begin.
What is this thing? We are testing. We are testing.
After entering the test room, Gordon goes to the control panel and presses the button to start the rotors. Because the curiosity for the crystal was so great, scientists wanted to have more data about it. That's why they set the resolution of the beams to %105, working at %90 capacity for normal crystals. In this way, they would learn more about the structure of the crystal. However, the security systems had to be turned off in order for the machine to operate to the %105 level. Standard procedure for a non-standard sample. The supervisor scientists above tell Gordon to continue, and Gordon pushes the sample. Then green light flashes and explosions occur all around, and everything gets out of control. Scientists immediately try to turn off the device, but now it's too late for everything and nothing goes right. Now the days of great disaster have begun. Unfortunately, such a high concentration of exotic substances in it meant that the crystalline material had strange physical properties and was therefore very unstable. The powerful rays of the overloaded anti-mass spectrometer damaged the crystal structure, and the experiment resulted in an adverse reaction called a resonance cascade. The resulting exotic energy release caused devastating effects in the fabric of space-time, and created an aggressive dimensional rift between the Earth and the Zen frontier world.
Warning. Possible bio-reading detected.
Many wild alien creatures living in the facility and Zen in these randomly popping slits teleported and started attacking the scientists. The American Armed Forces sent a special unit, HECU, to Black Mesa to intervene. While thinks he's got the job she's been looking for with Gordon, he finds herself at the center of the greatest disaster in human history, and a three-sided war. The U.S. military considered the events an act of sabotage. Gordon Freeman is declared the head of the saboteur and becomes the primary target of the troops. Gordon begins to defend himself by fighting against both aliens and American soldiers with his armor that protects against all kinds of dangerous conditions, his latest technological weapons, including crowbar, and his scientific intelligence. The aliens are not aware of where they have come anyway. In great amazement, they attack everything they see with fear. Afterwards, although the soldiers initially had the upper hand, they soon lost control as they were stuck in more ground. Forget about Freeman, save your life, and they quickly back away. They flee in such haste that they had to leave many Marines behind inside the facility. The American government sends a more professional and invincible team, the Black Ops team of the CIA, to the region to cover up new events. Black Ops agents, a dangerous and very effective cleanup team consisting of male and female assassins, are tasked with cleaning up all Black Mesa science and security personnel, invading alien creatures, and soldiers who are left behind and fail and learn too much, that is, everything living. And in order to do that, they plan to install a terminus, an atomic bomb device inside the test, so that no one knows about this event as if it never happened. Later, some soldiers realized that what they did was wrong and cooperate with scientists and fight Black Ops. Although there was a great disaster and war with the cracking of the Zen crystal, some scientists continued their research resolutely even in this chaos environment. Have accessed tremendous information about crystal and teleportation. They developed much more advanced and light teleportation technologies. This means that the experiment actually succeeded, although it had fatal side effects. Gordon Freeman, after battling 1,001 deadly creatures and the most elite soldiers of the American Army, becomes involved in the Lambda Complex, the place where Black Mesa developed teleport technologies that he has used since the beginning to travel to Zen. Continuing their research to get things busy there, some scientists tell Gordon that there is a very powerful entity on the other side of the teleportation portals, and that he is responsible for this invasion.
These readings have given us reason to suspect that there is an immense portal over there, created and maintained by the intense concentration of a single powerful being.
And Gordon teleports to Zen, taking all the weapons, equipment, and ammunition he can carry to kill him and stop the alien invasion. Here, Gordon confronts Zen aliens in their natural habitat, jumps forward from one of the low-gravity asteroid islands to another. Here we can also see the corpses of researchers who searched for crystals before. Then we fight one of Zen's most powerful and female creatures. Is the mother of the head crabs who teleport to this world and turn people into zombies. Normally, mothers are sacred, except this mother. Gordon confronts himself in his lair after battling the minions and army of this gigantic super being named Neolant. Neolant is able to organically generate the portals Black Mesa is trying to achieve in his own body. This creature has very interesting features. It resembles an abnormally large-headed, unnaturally brownish baby fetus. He has stitches on his head and body as if he had undergone an operation. We can clearly see evidence of amputation on the huge creature's tiny legs. Can soar by flying with a lifting device combined with her body. So it looks like the creature was surgically created artificially with super technology. Nylan, who has telepathic powers, talks about Gordra all the time. The creature draws its strength and nourishment from Zen crystals. It seems that people were angry with humanity for collecting these crystals for research before. Gordon breaks these crystals, exhausting the creature. The stitches on his head break off and open like a flower, and at the end of a long struggle, Neolant, the only one of the flock, is killed. Then certain person saves us from destruction, but 20 puts us into a cosmic sleep that lasts for years. While Gordon is asleep, the nuclear warhead placed in Black Mesa explodes, and the facility is completely destroyed. On the television, it is said that this explosion was caused by a meteor falling from space. So the event is successfully covered up. But how far? Although Neolant, who wants to invade the world, is killed, portals continue to open randomly and everywhere due to the ruptures in the space-time fabric. Still, Zen wild beasts continue to erode the world. In addition to all this, a devastating event called portal storms occurs. These storms radiate destructive magnetic shockwaves outward in a storm-like fashion as a result of tearing the fabric of space-time. They cause destruction everywhere they hit with a whistling noise, causing serious damage to structures such as buildings and bridges, Crystal experiments in Black Mesa had resulted in portal rifts randomly opening between Earth and Zen. That's why Gordon Freeman sent a satellite rocket into space to seal the dimensional cracks. But that didn't work. The dimensional rift was normally supposed to close, but Neolit prevented these portals from closing. So Gordon killed Neolit this time to close the rifts. But that didn't work either. The portals actually closed after the Black Mesa explosion, from which few survived. However, this trans-astronomical quantum catastrophe that took place damaged the fabric of space-time, causing a phenomenon called portal storms. After Nehilant died, who kept the portals open, an unstable energy was unintentionally released. Because Nehilant was such a powerful being, he also contained a lot of exotic energy in his body. A cascade larger than the resonance cascade has formed. That's why dimensional rifts have become even more unstable. At first, the only state that knew about the events was America. However, events later spread around the world. Earth civilization was drifting towards a global collapse due to luminous eddies forming in the sky, portal storms, devastating earthquakes, zombie invasions, attacks of wild creatures, and economic crises. Then a force noticed these dimensional cracks and widened them further. A power that took advantage of all this turmoil and chaos has launched a surprise attack on the world. Some huge flying objects, large and small, came out in droves from the portals that opened in the sky. Before people knew what was happening, these strange aircraft violently attacked the cities. The United Nations has declared global mobilization all over the world. The armies of all countries jointly responded to the attack. Even the most hated hostile countries fought on the same side. In the early hours of the battle, the attack was repelled. But as the aliens died, more and more swarms came from the portals in the sky. Each of these combat units, attacking completely ruthlessly and for no reason, was so different from each other that it seemed as if they had all come from different places. This made it difficult to identify and resolve a complex enemy. You cannot fight an enemy you do not know. It takes time to get to know. None of the aliens belong to a single race. Sintler, cyborgs, robots, creatures, smart weapons began to destroy all the cities of the world. Unfortunately, we had no weapons other than primitive gunpowder guns and bombs. These don't even work on the enemy. This war was just like the wars between the Indians and the European colonists. But now we are the primitive Indians here. This war is not a scenario like in Hollywood movies where aliens attack only America. All the cities of the world are under occupation. America fell into the pit. It dug itself because of hiding its own experiments and results. But he also had the whole world in his pursuit. This war is one of the wars that have happened so far, the World Wars, and even the Three. It was a more devastating war than World War II combined. When humanity just realized what they were up against, they used all the weapons at their disposal to prevent the world from surrendering. Again, happened to people themselves. Humans named these aliens, who have a very strong army in terms of technology and numbers, combine. But they called themselves Universal Unity. At the end of the hour, the armies of all the nations of the world were defeated. Lover of war. By that hour, there was no longer any hope for humanity. There were so many casualties that 80% of humanity was already destroyed. Former director of Black Mesa, Dr. Wallace Breen negotiated a peace treaty with the Combine to save humanity at the end of the 7 Hours War. This surrender treaty made in New York declared the Combine to be the sole dominant power in the world on behalf of all world states and all survivors of humanity. All armies surrendered by laying down their arms. All world governments have been overthrown and a single world state linked to the Combine Empire has been established. Then the settlements that were still intact were divided into numbered cities. Appointed as the world leader of the Breen Combine. Making peace with the Combine meant humanity sacrificing its freedom. From now on, the darkest age of humanity has begun. If this peace treaty had not been signed, all of humanity would have gone extinct like the dinosaurs. If the war had lasted longer than 7 hours, the Combined would have completely wiped out humanity from the world. Thanks to Breen, the war was over in 7 hours. 3-kilometer-tall tower-long citadel was built as the epicenter of colonialism in city number 17 in Eastern Europe. The Combine Empire has assimilated humanity with scientific and technological methods that are unprecedented and far beyond human imagination. In order to prevent the recovery of the human population already sanctioned in war, they imposed a method of birth control called suppression field. In other words, by preventing the formation of protein chains necessary for embryo development, they sterilized people and prevented them from reproducing. That's why we don't see any children in the game. Because no new baby has been born in years. Children born before the war grew up working like slaves in factories. After the war, they formed the Overwatch Transhuman Arm Army by transforming them with cybernetic technologies in order to assimilate the equally captured ex-soldiers of the surrendered armies. Because the Combined Empire gets its power and name by adding it to its military power by cybernetically modifying the creatures on the planets it occupies. The once human but no longer Overwatch soldiers became the Combine's troop and police force on Earth. That's why they didn't need their own alien units, so they withdrew them all to use in other conquests. That's why we can't see them in games. Combined soldiers, transformed by transhumanist methods such as genetics, bioengineering, and cybernetic chips, are humans with enhanced combat capabilities. Having undergone extensive modifications, including brain and thoracic surgery, implantation of various mechanical devices in the throat and abdomen, these soldiers are designed to be ruthless, fearless, emotionless, painless, unquestioning orders, and tireless. Vocal cords were removed from their throats and replaced with a vocal radio device for communication. That's why all soldiers have the same voice. These soldiers do not eat or drink water. It gets its nutrients from the energy panel on the walls, battery cells, and hoses attached to its body. They captured those who showed the most opposition to the Combine rule and turned them into synth cyborg slaves called stalkers, with the most brutal surgical methods. Stalkers' limbs are dismantled and replaced with bolted metallic attachments. Like soldiers, their digestive system is dismantled and replaced with artificial organs that allow them to survive with a nutrient solution administered from the sides of the body through the gastric port. They are defaced and replaced with a metal plate, and they are allowed to peer through a small pinhole. Of course, there are also people who voluntarily join the Combined ranks of their own accord. They are doctor-adopting the views that Brain propagates. Many people obeyed the Combine dictatorship and joined the civil protection units in order to gain the privilege of reaping rewards such as better life, good food, reproductive simulations, power, authority, and status. These cops are not human beings transformed by biotechnological processes like Overwatch. They are ordinary, natural people. Civil protection units are the law enforcement of the Combine government. Their mission is to arrest insurgents and their sympathizers and suppress the occasional minor riot. The Combine Empire has set up a very extreme totalitarian, imperialist police state regime on Earth. Breen always speaks of universal unity as our benefactors. He sees his Combined invasion as a blessing, because they are an immense force that dominates multiple universes. According to him, if we cooperate with them instead of fighting them, we as humanity can benefit from these universal blessings. After all, they are a civilization that is much more advanced than humans in science and technology. Has a technology that specializes in using dark matter and dark energy, which humans are only just beginning to understand. Already got the Citadel from Doctor. They did it with Brain's persuasion. If he hadn't made this bargain with them, they would have killed everyone, gathered the resources they wanted, and left the world. So why did the Combine invade Earth? As you know, we are in a universe of hundreds of billions of light mansions, consisting of a star system containing the world and galaxy clusters covering such systems. However, it seems that there is no life other than us in this huge universe that seems endless. Combine, on the other hand, comes from a universe other than our own, just like Zen. According to multiverses and bubble theory, there are other universes besides our own. Portal storms unleashed by Nihilant's death attract the attention of the Combi, and they erode into the world using the Zen as a dimensional slingshot. Considering that the size of even an ordinary universe is hundreds of billions of light years, it would be reasonable to think that the distances between universes are incomprehensible in astronomical numbers. Here, Zen functions as a cosmic shortcut in a kind of quantum dimension that brings the distances of trillions of light years closer together. That's why it's called the border world. You must have seen those classic sci-fi movies. Teleportation portals shorten distances by bending the three-dimensional universe, just as we can bend 2 dimensions by folding a sword. So why would the Combine go to such trouble to travel such enormous distances and invade a simple planet like Earth? Combine can teleport between universes thanks to its dark energy reactor. However, the Combine's teleport technologies work much differently than Mesa's. Combine travels from one universe to another with huge splits called super portals. Of course, to do that, they need giant castles as big as the Citadel. Black Mesa, on the other hand, opens portals to teleport from one room to another or anywhere inside the laboratory, although not inter-universe. Here's the reason why the Combine invaded the world. Combine opens the inter-universe super portal, but cannot operate teleportation within that universe. So after teleporting to a universe, it needs to be transported by normal means. What humans have, but not the Combine, is local teleportation technology within the universe. Combine aims to take over Black Mesa's teleportation technology and speed up the inter-universe colonial activities with teleportation portals. Hushlaugh's story has always been based on teleportation technology. To understand Combine, it is necessary to listen to it from the person who knows it best.
Be so short-sighted. I have studied 36 zones beyond our own. Carbon stars with ancient satellites colonized by sentient fungi. Gas giants inhabited by vast meteorological intelligences. Worlds stretched thin across the membranes where the dimensions intersect. Impossible to describe with our limited vocabulary.
Half-Life is an extremely small story that takes place in an incomprehensibly large universe. It is located in the overworld Flame universe, the possible homeland of the Combine. Means first universe. Already in the Combine, they build upright castles like Elif on the worlds they invade in the same way. We later learn that according to a Vortigaunt, it was once under the yoke of the Combine on Neolant. Anyway, no one but the Combine could have made the surgical scars on this Nihilant's body. Vortigaunts, intelligent life forms in Zen, were fighting us because they were slaves back then. When Freeman killed Neolant, the Vortigaunts were freed and allied with the humans. Neolant had previously fled the Combine with his fellow humans and sought refuge in Zen. It's not hard to see why the Combine would want to enslave Nihilant, as they are after teleportation technologies. Because Neolant could also generate portals from his body, wanted to use the Combine Nihilant as a teleporter. It looks like Neolant somehow escaped from the Combine. But that doesn't mean he's a victim and innocent. Because the first thing Neolant did after getting rid of the Combine was to enslave his fellow men and start colonial activities. The modifications the Combine had made on her body had made her a very powerful being. That's why he had a power poisoning and started to invade. Gained tremendous strength when he began to feed on the crystals in Zen as well. The common point of all intelligent life in Zen is that there is a third hand between the abdomen and thoracic region. Actually, none of these creatures are natives of Zen. They all came here as immigrants. It made him very angry that people were conducting teleportation experiments here. The Zen realm was already a very small place. Neolant could no longer fit in Zen as he was constantly growing. So when the teleportation disaster occurred, an opportunity arose for Neolant. When the portals opened, she wanted to bring her empire to the world. But then, a man with a crowbar came out and of course prevented that from happening. So who could have been the person who previously provided Neolant's shelter in Zen? Someone must have warned him. If you don't behave yourself, a man with a crowbar may come and hurt you. Nihilant was fleeing the Combine, but he was no better than the Combine. The first thing he did after getting rid of the Combine was to start colonial activities like the Combine. Failing to do so, the resulting portal ridges entered the Combine's radar. Combine was already looking for Nihilant. When they found him, they found that he had been killed by a man with a crowbar. They realized that a species called human is able to produce teleport portals better than the Combine and Nihilard. After realizing this, they immediately invaded the world. To do this, they used portal storms. They easily accomplished this in a ridiculous 7 hours. After all, the Combine 314 are a mega imperialist cosmic force that has taken over the universe. To better understand the Combine, we can look at the Sister House scale and the Fermi paradox. Human civilization is between 0 and 1 by that measure, while 5 because the Combine is a multiverse or multiversal empire, considered type. So in this game, it's actually 5. We are fighting with a crowbar in our hands against a type of super civilization. Breen argued that it was pointless to oppose such power. We don't even know how powerful the Combine is yet. These don't even bother to send their own kind on their way to war. All the forces we have seen so far are artificial and spolia species they gathered from the civilizations where they rested. Combine doesn't actually hate people like Nihilant. Cutting down the tree where a squirrel lives and making a chair can be a difficult situation for the squirrel. Because of this, the squirrel may have difficulties and get upset. But we cannot tell Squirrel about our civilization and furniture industry. That's the level for us in Combine. We are at the Squirrel level according to them. Combine is a power far beyond our perceptions. We are a primitive ape species that did teleportation experiments in their eyes and failed to do so. But Doctor, because Breen is a superior scientist, she was able to persuade the Combine. They didn't even consider us worth exploiting. They wanted to destroy humanity so that it would have no foothold. You know that Black Mesa was destroyed by the atomic bomb. No trace of the experiments conducted there remained. Breen made a bargain with the Combine. He told them about the experiments in Black Mesa, said we are not as primitive as you think. If you include us in your empire, I'll present you on a gold platter the teleport technologies you've always been after. In this way, the Combine decided to stop destroying humanity completely and enslave it. That's the best of the bad. So Citadel, it was founded thanks to Breen. The Citadel is the Combine's super portal opening tool to the overworld. It is also a war factory. The inter-universe super portals are powered by a dark energy fusion reactor. Through these portals, the Combine could stay in contact with their homeland. Combine is a hybrid civilization in which many alien species are combined and intermingled. They incorporate the superior characteristics of the living species on the planets they occupy into their gene pools. They also integrate the technologies of those planets into their own. Dr. Breen also wanted humanity to be included in this civilization. In fact, he himself aimed to be a leader who had a say in this empire. Because the Combine valued his intelligence, he often made a backup of consciousness. Even after they captured Eli Vance, they wanted to copy his consciousness by passing through these super portals. Because Eli Vance was one of the scientists who knew the teleportation portals best. All this, Doctor, it's part of a trade brain made with the Combine. Doctor, the more teleport technology Breen provides to the Combine, the more positions and rewards she will receive. Dr. Breen built his dictatorship as the leader of humanity on this trade order. Nihilant had done the same thing once. That's why Nihilant and Doctor there is a similarity between the Breen. Some people rebelled against this order. An underground stress organization was formed, trying to undermine the Combine's aims in the world with strategic moves. Founded after the defeat after the 7 Hours War, this organization aimed to overthrow the Combine into the New World Order. Although the organization received full support from the surviving human population, it was not strong enough to attack the Combine army. He made some minor strikes, but was easily suppressed. Ravenholm was once the largest main resistance base. It was a refuge for refugees fleeing the Combine dictatorship. During the 20 years of Combine rule, he was actually aware of all resistance activities. The militants' fight against Overwatch was completely ineffective. That's why the Combine didn't even consider them a significant threat. Therefore, he did not organize an important operation because he did not take such organizations seriously. However, over time, when the structuring in the town of Ravenholm started to grow, they intervened in an inhumane way. The Combine 7 hadn't just fought against humans in the Hour War and beyond. Because the Combine saw all the animals in the world as useless creatures, they killed almost all of them. So all animals were wiped out from the face of the Earth. Already before the Combine, the Zeni life teleported to Earth threatened the very existence of all animals. Without the Combine, the Xenians were already on the verge of extinction. However, there is one animal that the Combine loved very much. So pigeons. He liked the Combine pigeons so much that he left the pigeons untouched while he was drying out the other animals. He even used pigeons as his national symbol. We often see the dove symbol on propaganda posters. In some cutscenes of the play, even if a Combined soldier accidentally killed a pigeon, he was scolded by the team commander over the radio. When animal life on Earth came to an end, the wild species of Zen quickly filled this gap. The Zen ecosystem has almost completely moved and spread around the world. Therefore, most of the world's lands have become uninhabitable. That's why people had to migrate to these numbered cities that the Combine established in order to be protected from these creatures. Some survivors of Black Mesa were developing technologies for the rebel resistance organization. They still continued to conduct teleportation experiments, setting up secret bases such as Black Mesa East and White Forest. Here they trained new scientists and engineers. Even some Vortigaunts have joined the new science team. Vortigaunts have a very high IQ and are experienced in teleporting. The teleportation devices made here have developed so much that they have started to do all their work by teleporting. Since the environment is very dangerous in every aspect in the New World, the safest way is to teleport. Although the experiments at Black Mesa were unsuccessful and disastrous, teleportation technologies have come a long way. The Resistance Organization used their teleport technology to steal weapons and ammunition from the Combine's armories. The Combine had been after this technology from the very beginning. Despite so much development, the Combine has not been able to develop such machines. In fact, once we boarded a Combine teleporter, the teleport was so slow that it took over a week to teleport somewhere. Because of quantum entanglement, the characters were jumping forward in time. So this means that if you walk instead of using a teleportation tool made by the combi boiler, you will reach your destination faster. Scientists like Isaac Kleiner and Eli Vance were able to build a makeshift teleportation machine in secret laboratories like a tiny warehouse, which the combi could not do while mastering all cosmic forces. Of course, all this has happened thanks to experiments done in the past at Black Mesa. Once Prophet Isaac Kleiner had a cat that he loved very much. Kleiner was once again doing one of his teleportation experiments, as he always did. But this time, unlike the others, he had developed a smaller and portable teleporter. He had tried the first teleport with a cat. However, things did not go well. Barney Calhoun was also there to assist with the experiment. The cat entered the portal intact, but did not come out intact. When the cat came out of the portal, it looked like Schrodinger's cat, deformed, caught between death and life with a very scary image. Then the cat exploded with a loud cry and disintegrated into its molecules. Most of these molecular particles passed through Barney. This incident affected him very negatively. At the end of this cat incident, Barney suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. He was constantly hearing cat noises and had nightmares about cats. This cat's name was Lamar. He was one of the last of his kind, as all the animals in the world died out. Barney and Craner were the only ones who knew about this event, as there were no other cats left in the world. They also talked about this incident and did not tell anyone. That's why Barney was scared when Alex would teleport in the first part of the game. She was worried that the same thing that happened to the cat would happen to Alex.
Major strike.
What cat?
I can't look.
He was then attached to a het pan that he used to experiment on Kleiner. He loved her like his cat and made him irrational. In this way, he was no longer trying to zombie people and was fed as a vegetarian. Kleiner always fed him watermelon, as it was the plant that most closely resembled a human head. In fact, Kleiner's notes wrote watermelon mullet for Lamar. Saddened by the loss of her beloved cat, Kleiner named her Lamar to fill her place. The name comes from sleeper and inventor Hedy Lamarr, who is known as the mother of wireless technologies like Wi-Fi. Kleiner's cat was female anyway. Headcrabs have no gender. They are completely sexless creatures. They have a very different reproductive system. Kleiner was a fan of Hedy Lamarr. That's why he always gives his animals this name. The Combine produced these parasitic animals by making genetic changes. Thanks to this, 2 new types of headcrabs, fast and poisonous, were born. And of course, indirectly, fast and poisonous zombies were also born. The Combine stuffed them into small rockets to quell resistance movements and fired targets. The still community that grew up in Ravenholm was violently exposed to these biological weapons. The only survivor of the Adcrab and zombie invasion in Ravenholm is Father Grigori, a former parish priest. After this incident, Grigori started to rule the whole town alone. Although he lost his mental balance a little due to the traumas that occurred after the massacres, he is actually a talented engineer at the same time. He single-handedly took control of the zombies by establishing these bits of land in all the streets of Ravenholm. After all, Ravenholm is an industrial town where male quarries are heard. That's why he has access to all the tools he needs. Grigori sees himself as the shepherd of the zombie hordes, and the zombies as the Govims and his community to be herded. Grigor is one of the most mysterious characters of the story. Since Headcrabbler is a parasitic life form, they choose humanoids as hosts and transform them into necrotic mutant puppets by taking over their nervous system. Completely covers the head and face of the host. Therefore, a vertical slit mouth is formed on the chest of the zombie, and it feeds from this mouth. The ribs act as teeth. Despite this terrible transformation, zombies do not actually die completely and do not lose consciousness. So these are not actually the Walking Dead. A headcrab clamps itself to the head like a ratchet, making it impossible to remove it again. The host individual also faints from suffocation. This makes the headcrab's job much easier. When he wakes up, he finds himself turned into a zombie and still feels everything. Deformations, hemorrhages, and clefts in his body cause him endless pain. So how do these people feed in a world where there are so many disasters, agriculture and animal husbandry are over, and even all animals are extinct? Headcrabs has become the new chicken. Most of the time, people eat them the way headcrabs eat people. A reciprocal food chain. Other than that, there's nothing to eat for humanity, except for the synthetic gels the Combine dispenses from food pans on the wall. People learn to cook head crepes for food from the Vortigaunts. Since the Vortigaunts have been liberated by Gordon Freeman, they see Gordon as a savior, the Messiah. After he was freed from slavery, his true powers were revealed. They also have the power to stop time, see the future, teleport, and heal serious wounds. They also learn to speak like humans. But despite all this talent, they can also be seen doing errands. In fact, Alex Vance was seriously injured in a conflict. To save her, the Vortigaunts gave Alex life from an Antlion Guard larva egg, and in doing so, they held a ritual-like ritual. In the episode Hurt the Heart, Gordon and Alex's lives are connected by a mortal bond. So this means that Gordon and Alex got married according to Vortigaunt tradition. These two nearly died when the dark energy reactor in the Citadel Castle exploded. Then a man with a tie only saved Gordon from the Big Bang, but Alex was left behind. Vortigaunts saved Alex. Was planning to detain Gordon again, like at the end of the first game after the Citadel explosion. However, the Vortigaunts blocked it by blocking it. Vortigaunts don't really like them because they're constantly messing with him. As he said, the only thing they once knew about humanity was a man with a crowbar running towards them through steel corridors. Once upon a time, they didn't even care about Alex. That's why it was he, not the Vortigaunts, who saved Alex from the Black Mesa disaster. This man seems to admire those who are best at surviving the deadliest disasters and war environments, and detain them and use them for his own purposes or plans in various wars. Anyway, no matter how great a warrior Gordon was, he couldn't survive the 7-hour war. The Combine had won such a great victory against humanity that the resistance movements were not a threat to them. That's why they had turned the world into a self-governing understanding as they wanted and pulled back into their own military forces. Even the Overwatch army, consisting only of transformed human soldiers and some sync units, kept order. Already the only state in the world is the Combine state and the Combine army. There is no power in the world that can resist this war power. An army that has never been defeated before. There is no power in any universe to counter the Combine. For example, the elite Combined soldiers wearing white used to be Special Forces personnel who fought in the armies of the world. These have undergone a higher conversion than the others. For example, if a regular Combine soldier is a regular Hecu soldier, if he is an elite Combine soldier, it is a Special Forces converted soldier such as Black Ops. In the Combine's Overwatch army, the best soldiers from all armies in the world are mated to become Combine soldiers. Combine also absorbs the brains of scientists and intelligent people it captures in various ways and uses these superior intelligences to develop their own technologies. Breen was also going to pass Eli and Alex through the super portal for this purpose, but when she failed to do so, she tried to escape from this portal herself. However, the universe where the combined overworld is located does not support the existence of atmospheric gases such as oxygen, nitrogen necessary for human life, so it needs to be transferred to a host body to live there. Then, just as he was about to escape, the portal device was detonated by Gordon Freeman. This event results in a chain reaction, resulting in the complete destruction of the Citadel. The Citadel explodes with the force of an atomic bomb, destroying the entire city of 17. The destruction of the Citadel deals the heaviest blow to the Combine's world rule. 20 begins the biggest uprising in annual Combine history. Everyone holding a gun starts fighting in the streets. With the closing of the super portals, the Combined in the world became completely defenseless, isolated and unsupported units. Even some of their combo troopers became zombies because they were deprived of some life support resources. A new and more dangerous type of zombie called Zombine was born with the combination of zombies and their combined names and words. Headcrabbler are Rombines, humans who have been transformed into shifters who become zombies by jumping on the heads of transformed Overwatch soldiers. Sarek is more durable than other zombies because he wears military armor like a vest. But unlike the classic zombies, they still maintain a military duty consciousness rather than screaming for help. He still sends messages over the radio to those he knows. Brain chips still work. Sometimes other soldiers turn off their radios to avoid hearing their messages because these messages are meaningless. Zombies act like suicide bombers. To kill both Gordon and the crab stuck in his head, he takes out the grenade and starts running by holding it to his head. Even though the Combine was defeated, they are still struggling to recover. Resistance grows as the Combine retreats. They have managed to develop technologies that will be able to prey on even the most feared units, the Striders. Developing one of these tools, Magnus's device, Doctor, it has one of Magnus's funniest details in the game. At the beginning of the first game, even before the experiment started, a microwave working in the cafeteria was also cooking casseroles. If we tampered with the oven and pressed its buttons, the oven would explode. That's why Dr. Magnus was very angry with Gordon, because lunch was messed up. However, before noon, the experiment accident happened and aliens invaded Black Mesa, so he wouldn't be able to eat that casserole of any kind. Freeman came to be seen as the savior of humanity, but the Combine is still very powerful and dangerous. They're starting to fight worse now. Under the direction of the Combine, while there was Breen, there was a more humanistic understanding of government, albeit a dictatorship. After Breen disappeared, the advisors took over the management. Advisors are the brains and generals of the Combine army. Is one of the supreme, most intellectual, and mysterious units of the combined empire. They personally organized the invasion of the world. Advisors, whose real name is Shulatoi, are actually super intelligent larvae that are still in their infancy. They too have undergone evolutionary and biotechnological transformations to adapt to the world. They have robotic arms, cybernetic eyes, and a gas mask for breathing. He has the ability to defy gravity and telepathically read minds. Although it is very intelligent and has superior features, it is very soft and flimsy. Lived in code to evolve until it first appeared. When it is understood that humanity is not surrendered as a result of Freeman's attack on the Citadel, Dr. Breen's bargain deal fell through. They also sent this information to the last portal opened. It was a war cry for help. Then they decided to destroy the Citadel with their own hands deliberately. Because Citadel, Doctor, it was a symbol of the peace treaty Breen had made. Gordon Freeman broke this peace treaty and started a new war. To do this, Gordon tried to prevent it while trying to cool the dark energy reactors. So the destruction of the Citadel actually worked for them. They wanted to destroy humanity from the very beginning. Just call them Dr. Brand was convinced. There is no longer a mediator to negotiate with them. The destruction of the Citadel means that the Combine has decided to destroy all of humanity. Bargaining. The bargain of colonialism. Colonization or death. But with the last portal finally opened, the Combine threat was gone. If we can clear the last remaining Combine on Earth, they'll never come again. Because they no longer have a portal storm opportunity to seize. In short, the Combine's business on Earth is over. However, after all this, we receive an encrypted video recording message. A ship named Borealis appears in the message. This ship belongs to another scientific organization that rivals Black Mesa, namely Aperture Science. They were also doing teleportation experiments like Black Mesa. Bad disasters befell them too. The question of what is inside the ship holds the biggest mystery of the game. But after all, it's definitely a very advanced portal technology at work. After all, the game in which Aperture Science takes place is Portal. If the Combine takes this ship to the ground, it can obtain the local teleport technology it's been after all along. If this happens, the Combine will be completely invincible. He can use this technology to open a super portal between the overworld and the world again, and attack again with an even stronger army. According to Eli Vance, if this happens, it's not humanity's cause. It won't even last 7 hours and 7 minutes. The 7-minute war would be the absolute end of humanity. That's why Eli Vance argues that this ship should be destroyed immediately before it falls into the hands of the Combine. But Dr. Kleiner argues that this is a huge opportunity and that we should use the technology there against the Combine. In other words, it starts a new teleport tech race, the story of Half-Life 3. We have already witnessed how advanced a science facility Aperture Science is in Portal games. Combine pursued Aperture Science's technologies, but even they are unaware of what they will receive there. This story is the portal race between Black Mesa, Aperture Science, and the Combine Empire.
This is where I get off.